Okay, trustees, we are live. We are recording. Phone lines will remain on. Go for it.
Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone to the regular meeting of the Hampton Town Trustees for December 11th, 2023. I'd like to open with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Marlene, can you do roll call, please?
John Aldridge.
Here.
Francis Bach.
Here.
David Cataletta.
Here.
Ben Dollinger.
Here.
Tim Garneau.
Here.
Jim Grimes.
Yes.
Susan McGraw-Huber.
Here.
Mike Martinson. Bill Taylor.
Here. All right. Go to the public portion of the meeting. Matt, is anybody on the phone line?
0 callers right now. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's start with Roy Wilshire and Drew Bennett. Drew's taking the floor. This is for Maslin at 307 Kings Point Road.
Good evening, I'm Drew Bennett. I'm here on behalf of the Maslins, who are the property owners. They have an existing 90 linear feet of rock revetment. It's been protecting their property. In 2022, they obtained a building permit to replace in kind, basically reconstruct this rock revetment, which was beginning to settle and come apart. So after several years of permitting, they put it back together. It's 90 linear feet long. It is the top of the bulkhead elevation is currently +9 elevation. And after one winter, it's been overtopped, which we had predicted. So back in 2015, we had started a permitting effort to raise the rock revetment elevation. And were denied after many years of trying. And so the owner elected to reconstruct what they had before they lost it. And that work was completed last winter, and they performed an inspection in May of 2023, and it had been overtopped. So I'd like to just take a couple minutes just to show you an aerial photograph of what the situation is. And then the plan is pretty straightforward. Just there should be an aerial photo.
307. That house. See it?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, we see it.
So maybe there should have been an aerial, like a Google Earth photo.
Yeah, I can't tell which one it is, unfortunately, so.
So maybe just put the plan up.
I think those are pretty low lying too.
Sorry, the computer is doing its own.
So the property is located on the west side of Lionhead, near the peninsula or the peak of Lionhead. And here you'll see the plan. So the location, you'll see on the location map. I'm gonna go over this. So can you hear me? Yeah, good. So the property is located here. What you don't see in this photograph that you would see in an aerial photo is that the properties to the north and the east are all bulkheaded. And in fact, several properties in this direction, the 2 or 3 properties over are also vertically bulkheaded. This particular property suffers from scour on the end of one of the vertical bulkheads. And based on our calculations and based on our experience, we'd like to be able to raise the top of the rock revetment to +14, which has been a fairly tried and true elevation number for the Gardner's Bay. And we would seek the trustees' support in doing it.
And Drew, the property to the east, that bulkhead is at 14, is it not?
It's, I actually was checking on that this evening. It's not quite 14, it's somewhere around 12.
But it's taller than your existing revetment.
It is, and what's happening is in the northwest winds and northeast winds, the water sort of reflects off of the vertical bulkhead and we're the first property down drip to that, and there's scour occurring in the middle of the property. So if we could go to the photo, sorry. You'll see some of the overtopping that's occurred last winter. So just past, maybe the last one was better. Yeah, that's good. So,
Excuse me 1 second. Mr. Bennett, can you please face that podium mic to your face again? Thank you.
for the reminder, yeah. So where I'm standing is on the western end of the vertical bulkhead at the neighbor's property, looking west, southwest, I guess it is. And you'll see the Maslin staircase there. And just to the west, or on the other side of that staircase, is sort of the pinnacle point of where most of the overwash occurs. So it's 50 to 100 feet downstream of the vertical bulkhead. And it's basically, in one winter, is overtopped the rock revetment that exists. So what happens when it gets overtopped is that it gets undermined, basically, both from the flanks and overtopping. And once it becomes overtopped, it begins to settle and fall apart like it had done in the past. So what's important about a rock revetment is that it performed well in the large storm events, not in the small storm events. And so in our estimation, it's vital that we raise the top of the rock revetment elevation from +9 to +14.
So Drew, do you have the DEC and the town permits for this?
We do not. They've been filed, Laura's office has filed with both the zoning board and the New York State DEC.
Well, I'm not sure what I'm looking at there.
Sure.
Where's your property?
You're looking at it.
So all the rocks?
Everything you see there is our property, except these are the neighbors to the west.
What's that above the rocks now?
Sand.
So your revetment and the neighbor's revetment are the same height?
These are our rocks. This is our sand. This is our staircase. This is our rocks. These are the neighbor's rocks. This is the neighbor's block. This is our block.
That staircase lands on top of the rocks? What's going on?
No, this is on hoist. It's lowered up and down. It's off the ground for the winter. Is that
Hey,
clear?
Drew, what's your existing top of revetment elevation?
9,
And you're proposing 14?
correct.
What's the neighbor say about that? Is the neighbor concerned that you're gonna be higher than him then?
Well, if I could pull up the aerial photograph, you'll see that there's bulkheads, vertical bulkheads. We're sort of in between two sections of vertical bulkheads.
You
And
said that neighbor, I thought you said
Yeah,
those rocks were the
so-
neighbor.
there's probably a dozen properties to the east that have vertical bulkheads.
There you
Thank
There
you.
you go.
go. Found it.
Great. Okay, so let me get my bearings here. This is the Maslin property.
Okay,
This is the start of the vertical bulkhead here.
all right.
And as you go east, you can see that all except this one are all vertically bulkheaded, and you'll see that their shorelines are further seaward than everyone else's who isn't bulkheaded. This is Maslin's neighbor. And there's another neighbor, and then there's another section of vertical bulkhead down here. And so what's happening is northwest winds hit the vertical bulkhead, reflects and swirls around the end of this, and most of the overtopping and scour occurs in this area here, which is somewhat expected. And as I had mentioned, in 2015 and 2016, we had applied for permits to raise it to 14. The New York State DEC was open to the idea if we tapered it toward the end. I believe the zoning board denied the application. So in the interim, they rebuilt what they had before they launched it, see how it worked. In the first winter, it was overtopped, which is not a good sign.
And Drew, wasn't there language in the prior permit to do a soft solution above the revetment? And I think there was even commentary in the ZBA's notes that if it overwashes and if what you put in gets washed out, come back to us and we'll
Yeah, that's-
reconsider
That's
it.
been fairly common language, at least during that period.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So this is that time.
yeah.
So we'll table it until DEC in town permits it?
We can either table it until they've got other permits, or we can write a permit conditional on the other agencies.
Do we support?
What's that, Larry? You
We would
prefer?
prefer
the
that,
letter?
yes.
What does the timeline look like for the other two permits? How recently have you submitted?
So the DEC is actually fairly quick. The properties that line up at the ZBA is 18 months from submission. They're very, very backed up and very understaffed, so we're having a very difficult time getting any permits out of that office.
So when did you submit for the ZBA permit?
At the same time that we submitted this one. So if this went in October, so did that.
So 2 months ago?
Yeah.
Okay. So trustees, we seem to have plenty of time here if we want to table and get some more, if we need any more information, or
The
there's
thing
just
is,
no rush on it right now.
the thing is that your whole board is going to change again. So I would rather that you do a conditional approval saying, we'll approve it, provided you can get your DEC and town approvals.
You saying that you're concerned about future boards?
No, I just, I know that right now, I feel that we have a,
Only one of us not gonna be here next month.
exactly, so this is.
Two.
Oh, I'm talking about present company.
Oh,
Ah.
yes, I alone will be leaving. The other person has left.
So that would be our preference.
It actually worked better when Drew was still talking. Point that out.
I'll just stay like this.
Yeah, I'm available for any questions if you have any. Let's do
I just have a curiosity.
Sure, give you.
Conditional.
Yeah, conditional.
You've got your property, then your neighbors has rocks.
Since I
Is it-
started.
The neighbor has rocks. And then it looks like the two other properties to the west of
Personal
that
thing.
have nothing, is that correct?
I believe that's the case.
It's a
Yeah,
position.
and I think what's important, John, for, maybe I'm not making the point, but I should do a better point of it, is that when we have wave reflection off the bulkhead, you get a swirl on the end of it, and most of that occurs on the Maslin
This
property.
particular.
And that's why you don't see the overtopping on the other properties further west. It's the concentration coming around the end, near the end of where the scour occurs.
Okay.
And the state was okay back in 2015 of keeping it high and then tapering it toward the neighbor.
I'd like,
And the
guys,
ZBA didn't like that.
Correct.
So the ZBA said soft solution above.
BBA would let us rebuild it, but didn't want it to go any higher in their decision in 2019, I believe it was.
I think what we know about sea level rise in this area in particular is the worst area in town for problems with erosion. I'd like to make a motion that we approve it conditional on DEC and ZBA approval.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Happy holidays,
Here's the board,
everyone.
too.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Bonnie will be very happy.
All right.
Public comment?
Oh, I have it right there. Yep, Jim Walker for Devon Yacht Club.
Jim Walker from InterScience. This is a project that I've handled since 1984. I got one person to laugh. Sometimes it's a laughable matter, sometimes it's not. So we have just received a new 10-year permit from the Army Corps and a new 10-year permit from New York State DEC. Plans are exactly the same. Those are John Costello's original drawings reproduced at our office. The interesting part of the latest set of permits are, we are going to dredge from May 21st to May 31st. And the reason being is Devon Yacht Club gets overtopped with the last spring storm all the time. in the past, we've asked for emergency dredging twice since 1984. Reason why that happens is end of April, last northeaster happens and it pushes the sand here out here. And it happens all the time. So we went to the Army Corps. The Army Corps said, well, we can't give you a permit to dredge in April, but we can give you a permit to dredge at the end of the flounder window. And then after 2, 3, maybe 4 short years, I don't remember precisely, the DEC decided that they could abide by the same thing. We have to do 2 things. We have to monitor for least turns and piping plovers. Generally, that's a town inspection. We also have to provide horseshoe crab monitors for the duration of the project and return all horseshoe crabs into the water. This project involves the trustees because this is trustees own sand, and that sand which goes here is available to the trustees. That's the permit that you have approved in the past, and that'll be exactly the same. The only thing different will be dredged in a later time frame to accommodate for winter flounder than in other years. So that's the whole project. We have our DEC permit, we have our Army Corps permit, we have a Department of State permit. Building permit is pending your board. The town building department will not give a building permit without a trustee permit, just so you know.
Jim, I'm sorry, I got here a little bit late. Did you have an opportunity to discuss the horseshoe crab monitoring with any members of our board?
No, we were talking about trailers, vacations and campers, duck hunting, and
All right.
my new dog.
Yeah, what'd you get?
American Water Spaniel.
No, no kidding.
Look it up on the internet. It's
No, I know what an American
cutest thing in the world. 5 pounds.
Oh, it's fully grown?
No, it's 10 pounds. It's 10 pounds already, but it was
Okay.
5 pounds when I got it
Okay.
on November 18th from Michigan.
What is her name?
It's a he.
Oh,
It's Charlie. It's named after my dad who just passed away.
oh,
last year.
no.
Sorry. to hear that.
Sorry.
Should have brought him in.
That's a good, no, I'm not gonna bring a dog in. I would like to bring the dog in, probably.
Next time.
What do I do if he poops? I mean,
Yeah.
clean it
Just
up.
do what I do. Ignore it.
So,
Pretend it's somebody else's dog.
so what Jim's referring to is, we need horseshoe crab monitors, and we contacted Cornell. We don't have anyone yet. We contacted Woods Hole Group. They said they weren't qualified to do it. So we're looking for horseshoe crab.
Well, what are they asking for exactly?
Watch the dredger. If there's a horseshoe crab placed on the beach, put it back in the water.
So this is 10 days, May 21st? to 31st?
Hypothetically, usually it's
John, it's usually only 2 or 3 days of actual
But
dredging.
that's the window.
It's usually 2 or 3 days. We ask for a 10-day time period because of,
Tight window, that's just when the spawning is happening.
Yeah, but you know what? You're not gonna find, you
Not during the day.
may pull up horseshoe crabs. You're not even gonna find them at night. You're not gonna find horseshoe crabs spawning in a
Construction site?
no, in a bulkheaded basin. On the shoreline to the east, perhaps, but I have never checked this area, so I don't even know whether there's presence.
But the dredging is done during the day and
But
the
it
horseshoe
sounds like-
crabs come out at night.
Sounds like they're just expecting somebody to look to see if there are
No, actually, they're
horseshoe crabs
expecting,
in the area.
no,
for
they're
dredging?
expecting, John,
if they get
for
sucked into
somebody
the.
to monitor. This is gonna be done with a long reach hydraulic excavator, bucket by bucket. If somebody basically watches and observes, if a horseshoe crab rolls out of that bucket, the job is to snatch up the horseshoe crab, release it, and if the horseshoe crab happens to be tagged, record the tag number.
That's it.
But I thought perhaps, given the fact that Francis may have a little less to do. Bill is always looking for something to do. And
John's
you have
already
you
been
have the
trained.
most experience of anybody here that perhaps before they put this out to the
I
public,
could show somebody what a horseshoe crab looks like.
that somebody from our board may wish to take on that job. And we vetted this completely. This will not be any sort of a conflict of interest on the trustee board. Because yes, we are issuing the permit, but other than the $100, there is no monetary compensation to members of the board as individuals, only the board in general. So we're clear.
But this is done
So if
during the
somebody
day, and the
wants to
horseshoe crabs
monitor the
won't be
horseshoe
out
crabs-
Well, that's
until
not-
night.
That's not.
No, they're around all
They're
the
around all
time.
the
They don't just come out at night. They're there all.
Jim, Susan has some free time too.
I know, I have some
Susan,
free
perhaps,
time,
I-
and
you
I've done the
sound
horseshoe
like you're
crab
interviewing
monitoring.
for-
We have
You
to,
sound like you're interviewing for the jobs.
we have to do the monitoring no matter what. You have plenty of time to think about it. Any,
I'd like to make a motion, we approve this, because it is no different than what we've done.
All right, I'll second
Other than the dredge dates.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
You know, the permit you got sounds like we'd like to get to the culvert.
It's a 10-year permit.
No, the time, the dates.
Oh, the timeframe?
The dates.
Good luck. Sorry.
I mean, we have your thing to point at now.
Oh, yeah, sure. Go ahead. I've handled a lot of dredging permits. These permits are not easy to secure, and it's nice that they're good for 10 years, but
We have the 10-year, we just need to modify it.
We'd like to get the
Dates.
date shifted a little bit. They want us to do it before April 1st, which is
dredging where you're gonna dredge.
culvert,
Acabonic Harbor.
Acabonic.
Mhm.
Sherry Iker.
No, it's good that you got that date shifted because it gives us,
It wasn't easy. It took me several years to get the permit, but it's good for 10 years. If you do get it, it's a valuable permit.
that's a good example that shifting the date is not the end of the world. And we can watch the horseshoe crabs.
There you
Let's
go.
just change the date and write Dongan Patent.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Jim.
Okay.
Good night, happy holidays to you.
Hey, Merry Christmas, Jim.
I'm going home and take care of my pup.
How old is he now?
He's 10 weeks old.
Oh my God, he's perfect, bring him back.
He bites a lot. Other than that, he's okay.
He bites a lot? Well, his teeth are coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cute.
cutie.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Would anybody have a problem with me going to the old business?
Go ahead.
Tim has somewhere to be,
Yeah.
so I would like to.
Okay, let's do all business. Just for Tim.
All right, so we're gonna go to docks. All right, so we're gonna be voting on these resolutions tonight. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go through them one by one again. Everybody ready?
You're ready.
Okay. Trustee resolution number 2023-36, resolution adopting new policies for the continued management and monitoring of all docks and trustee waters resulting from the trustees' comprehensive dock inventory. Following was offered by Francis Bach.
And then clerk.
Hold on a second, I just need to get myself acclimated here. Whereas the trustees of the freeholders and commonality of the town of East Hampton are the owners in fee title of numerous bottomlands located in the town of East Hampton, including but not limited to Wainscott Pond, Georgia Pond, Napeague Harbor, Fresh Pond, Hook Pond, Acabonic Creek and Harbor, Pussy's Pond, Hog Creek, 3 Mile Harbor, Duck Creek,
Hands Creek, Alwife Brook, Northwest Creek, and Little Northwest Creek. And whereas, as fee title owners of said bottomland, which the trustees hold in trust for the public, the trustees have the inherent authority to regulate the construction, placement, management, and monitoring of all docks, catwalks, floating docks, floating structures, and platforms, henceforth known as docks, in these waters. And whereas in 2021, the trustees determined that a review, assessment, and inventory of all existing residential docks, catwalks, floating structures, and platforms is warranted in light of the trustees' current and future management goals of all trustee bottomlands and waterways. And whereas during the course of this review, assessment of the inventory, the trustees identified the need for updated and comprehensive policies regarding the management and monitoring of all residential docks, catwalks, floating structures, and platforms. And whereas these updated policies will create uniformity in residential dock management across all harbors and for all residential dock agreement holders. And now therefore be it resolved, the trustees shall enact the following residential dock management policies across all trustee-owned bottomlands and waterways. We'll start with the definitions. Annual dock agreement, the agreement by which the trustees annually grant dock owners on trustee bottomlands and waterways the right to maintain a dock in that location. We're not voting on definitions, are we? Dock, any structure extending along shore or perpendicular to the shore into a body of water, including a dock, pier, catwalk, floating dock, or other structure of a variety of sizes and materials, which in whole or in part is located within the trustee bottomlands and waterways. Inventory list. A working list of all docks, platforms, floating docks, and walkways located in trustee-owned waterways and bottomlands. Piling. A post or pole or column-like structure of a variety of sizes and materials, which is driven into the ground and used to support docks. Also used to provide independent structure for vessels to affix lines to. Trustee dock permit. A permit valid for a period of 1 year that grants the permit holder the right to construct, reconstruct, or repair a dock in trustee-owned waterways and bottomlands. The trustee dock permit is typically subject to the permittee obtaining all other municipal permits, among other terms and conditions. All right, so we'll start with the annual dock agreements and charges. All dock owners shall execute annual dock agreements to be provided by the trustees with annual invoices. The annual charges for all dock agreement holders shall be $1 per square foot with a minimum total charge of $150. The annual charges for all freestanding pilings and any other pilings not supporting fixed docks is $18 per piling. Do I have a motion?
To make a motion.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Matters involving annual dock agreement holders. Unpermitted dock expansions. Whereupon trustee inspection, a dock is determined to be incongruent with the current dock agreement, the trustees will send official notice to the agreement holder advising the dock is non-compliant. This notice will grant the agreement holder 6 months from the date of notice to submit their application to reconcile the existing agreement to the trustees. Suggested criteria for applications included but not limited to evidence of compliance with other municipal permits, evidence the dock or dock expansion predates the 1984 or 1987 dock prohibitions. A motion?
I make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unbuilt docks. Any property owner who maintains an annual dock agreement but has not yet constructed the dock will be sent an official notice granting them 6 months from the date of notice to apply to the trustees to renew the original construction permit. The agreement holders shall be granted a maximum of 2 permit renewals so that the agreement holders shall have a total of 3 years to build the dock. If the dock is not constructed within this time frame, the trustees retain the right to deny any further renewals, and the agreement holder risks losing trustee approval to build a dock.
To pass.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Docks in disrepair. Whereupon trustee inspection, a dock is determined to be in poor, dilapidated, unusable, or otherwise unsafe condition, the trustees will send official notice to the agreement holder that they shall be granted 6 months from the date of notice to submit an application to the trustees to renovate or reconstruct the dock. If the agreement holder is granted a permit to renovate or reconstruct the dock, the permittee shall be granted a maximum of 2 renewals. If the dock has not been renovated or reconstructed after 2 renewals for a total of 3 years from initial permit approval, the trustees retain the right to deny any further renewals or approvals, and the owner risks losing trustee permission to have a dock and may be required to remove the existing dock.
I make a motion.
Yes, John, okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Future unpermitted expansions. Whereupon future inspections reveal unpermitted dock expansions, the trustees will send official notice to the agreement holder and that their dock is non-compliant, and granting the 6 months from the date of notice to submit an application to the trustees to bring the dock into compliance. These applications shall be reviewed by the trustees with heightened scrutiny, and the trustees reserve the right to deny any such application and require removal of the unpermitted expansion.
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
2 seconds. Tim?
Anyone opposed? Property transactions. All future annual dock agreements shall include language advising the agreement holder in sum and substance. Agreement holders shall notify the trustees in writing of agreement holders' intent to sell, transfer, or otherwise convey the subject property. This notice must include the names and contact information of all proposed transferees. Failure to provide the trustees with this notice of intent to transfer may result in forfeiture of the right to maintain this annual dock agreement.
I'll make a motion to approve. I just want to add one thing, and I know it's not here, but I would like to see real estate brokerages include that information on their comments.
Well, we can still approach them and ask them,
Okay.
but
All right, because that's a very important, it's double. So I will make the motion to approve this.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Unpermitted delinquent docks. Whereupon trustee inspection, a dock within trustee waterways and bottomlands is determined to have no valid trustee permit on file. The trustees will send official notice to the dock owner advising their dock is non-compliant with trustee policy. The unpermitted dock owner shall have 6 months from the date of notice to submit an application to the trustees to legalize the dock. The trustees decide whether to grant approval on a case-by-case basis and shall reserve the right to deny any such applications. Suggesting criteria for applications include, but not limited to, evidence of any existing municipal, town, or state permits. B, evidence the dock predates the 1984-1987 prohibition on docks. Or C, other evidence of trustee approval or correspondence.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? getting confused here.
It's number 4. Filing policies.
Oh, okay. Piling policies. Pilings may remain installed year-round at owner's discretion as it is consistent with the East Hampton Town Code.
Motion.
I'll second. David
Favor?
and John?
Aye.
Anyone
Aye.
opposed? Floating and removable dock policies. Number 5, any floating dock, removable ramp, walkway, or other movable dock or dock component shall be removed by the agreement holder no later than December 1st of each year. The trustees shall coordinate with the East Hampton Town Marine Patrol seasonally to identify non-compliance in this policy.
Make a motion.
I'll second.
All in
Ben,
favor?
is that you?
Yeah.
Okay.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yeah.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Number 6, future dock inspections and scheduling. A, aerial drone inspections. Trustees should contract with a drone aerial photographer to conduct aerial imagery of the trustees' dock inventory, as well as identify any docks that are not on the inventory list to add to and reconcile with the current inventory list. Weren't we going to recommend a timeframe on those? Like how many years?
It was in the
Maybe
original
20.
resolution.
Where we could make suggestions, it has to be in this.
Yeah, it was suggested 2 to 3 years for the drone and every
6 to 10 years or something.
for,
The 6 to 10 maybe into the field inspections.
So what do we want to do with this?
I think we can leave the language as is.
Yeah, it's gonna be up to the board.
Shouldn't we have this? I think we should put it as a suggestion.
Okay, anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Field inspections. Physical field inspections by the trustees or their agents, contractors or volunteers, etc., should be conducted every 6 to 10 years to add to and reconcile with the current inventory list.
I'll make a motion.
And I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. So by order of the trustees of the East Hampton and Commonalty of the Town of East Hampton, Francis J. Buck, Clerk of the Trustees. Who wants to second this motion?
I will.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And second. Okay, a resolution prohibiting any new residential and large bottom steps, platforms, or any other type of structure. You know?
I'm looking.
Should be in the-
Oh, thank you.
Okay, it's trustee resolution 2023-37. Resolution prohibiting any new residential and large bottom steps, platforms, or any other type of structure regardless of its intended use in the entirety of Georgica Pond, Georgica Cove, Wainscott Pond, Hook Pond, and Northwest Creek. Following resolution was offered by Francis Bach. Whereas by resolution number 22 of 1984, the trustees adopted a policy prohibiting the construction of any new residential piers, docks, fixed or floating, in Georgica Pond, including Georgica Cove, Wainscott Pond, Hook Pond, and Northwest Creek. And whereas even with this prohibition in place, the trustees have approved several applications for new residential and large platforms or bottom steps or other type of structure that is defined would circumvent the prohibition of new docks. Excuse me. And whereas the trustees have determined that there is a need to close this loophole or prohibit any residential structures in these waterways and bottomlands. And now therefore be it further resolved that from the date henceforth, in addition to the prohibition of any construction of new residential piers and docks, fixed or floating, that new residential bottom steps, platforms, or any other type of structure, regardless of its intended use, shall also be prohibited in the entirety of the above referenced waterways and bottomlands.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
I'm opposed.
Okay. Okay. Trustee Resolution 2023-38. Resolution prohibiting the construction of any new residential docks, fixed or floating, in the entirety of 3 Mile Harbor. Following resolution was offered by Francis Bach. Whereas by resolution number 22 of 1984, the trustees adopted a policy prohibiting the construction of any new piers, docks, fixed or floating in Georgia Pond, including Georgia Cove, Wainscott Pond, Hook Pond, and Northwest Creek. And whereas in resolution 22A of the 1984, the trustees amended the resolution number 22 of 1984 to include Napeak Harbor, and by resolution number 22B of 1984 to amend resolution number 22 of 1984 to include Accabonac Harbor and Hands Creek. And whereas by resolution number 157 of 1987, the trustees amended resolution number 22 of 1984 to include the portion of 3 Mile Harbor laying south of the line extending from the northeast corner of Suffolk County tax map parcel number 300-92-6-1 on the west side of 3 Mile Harbor, eastward to the northwest corner of Suffolk County tax map parcel number 300-94-6-1 on the east side of 3 Mile Harbor at the south end of Will Curl Highway. And whereas after a 2-year moratorium, which included the comprehensive trustee dock inventory, a public hearing, and trustee review and deliberation on the matter, the trustees have determined that the remaining portion of 3 Mile Harbor extending northward above the aforementioned line should also have the protection afforded by this dock prohibition policy. And now therefore be it further resolved that from this date henceforth, any construction of new residential piers, docks, fixed or floating is prohibited in the entirety of 3 Mile Harbor.
I make a motion.
I'll second it.
I'd like to do a roll call vote on this, if you don't mind.
Would you like me to?
Arlene?
John Aldred,
Yes.
Francis Bach,
Yes.
David Cataletto,
Yes.
Ben Dollinger,
No.
Tim Garneau,
Yes.
Jim Grimes,
No.
Susan McGraw-Keever,
Yes.
Will Taylor.
Yes.
Thank you. 2 noes. 6 yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you, everybody.
Nice record.
Thank you.
Good job. Yeah,
Subcommittee.
yeah. Nice template for what's moving forward now. throw it back to you.
All right, go back to new business. Proposed new kayak lottery entry process. Read, John?
Allison sees it.
I just wanted to bring a suggestion to the board. Last year, I offered the suggestion that we work towards going a little bit digitally, which the board approved, and we used it with great success. The one thing that I found that we continue to come up against that seemed to be an issue for those that were the applicants that won the spots through the kayak lottery was that they only end up getting about 2 weeks to complete their applications. Oftentimes it is like vacation and they're scrambling. Some of them are not at home. And so I thought about what if the completed application minus any payment was their entry to the kayak lottery. That would then allow them about 2.5 months to put their application together. Everything else would work the same way as it did last year. And that way they had more time to submit their application, get all their completed documents. Then once the lottery was pulled, if they won, they would be sent the link and all they would have to do in March is pay. It will eliminate a little bit of the scramble, I think. So it was just a suggestion, wanted to bring it to the board. And if you guys are okay with it, then we can move ahead. The only thing that it would do, it would increase the cost of that platform by about $35. So this year it would be, I've estimated about $60 to allow about 200 submissions to that platform. But other than that, that's really the only other thing that it would do for us.
I think it's a great idea. I did read it beforehand, and I do the lottery with Allison. So I think it's really a vast improvement, and I thank you for, coming up with the innovative idea. You're very good at that.
Thank you. So, yeah.
I agree, thanks, Allison.
Do you anticipate any problem with the payment?
No. And all the other, just like we did last year, where we offered the option for individuals to receive a hard copy by mail or get emailed a PDF, those options and everything else would still stay the same if they needed to do that. I think this just allows them more time. So the completed application would be their entry. If they had any tech issues or if they were away, it just gives them more time for any of the things that cause difficulty. That's all. Leaves more time to find solutions, really.
Assuming that if we received payment with the application, and the idea was, well, we'll take payment and then reimburse whoever doesn't get the lottery, that would be
a nightmare. Yeah.
So we get about 200 applications?
We get about 200 entries to the lotteries, inclusive of all of the sites.
And how many spots do we have?
I'd have to go back and do the math. I don't remember exactly what we have.
get some double deckers.
We don't know?
Definitely a streamlined
I don't
process.
remember exactly.
So-
I'm just curious.
We have 56, 112. I don't remember exactly the number between all of them,
So are we going to vote on this?
but it's just something to consider. And I don't know if you need to vote on it or if it needs to be something that you have more questions and to think about. The only,
Opposed to it?
I'd like to make a motion to approve if that's in line with the order. What?
I don't know.
we just have to do it by,
Do we really need to have?
I don't think we have. Let's do it.
Okay.
I think we all agree we should do it.
It's a good idea.
Think so.
It spreads out.
I think so.
It lets you do the work
Yeah, let's.
at a less busy time.
Right, yeah, okay, great.
It's
Does it
calmer for
affect
the
the applicants? Does it change the time?
Whatever you guys need to do.
Okay, so I make a motion that we approve Allison's proposal for the new kayak lottery.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
And you second?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Allison.
Okay, PEP, water quality project.
That's just CEP noticed.
Is this an app?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, cell phone app or something. They want to create a database of water quality data that's been taken around the estuary, and they've asked different stakeholders if they would be willing to contribute any data that they generate. So I just responded to this request that let them know that we have, annually contract with the Goldblum Lab to do quality work in our harbors, and that data is available to them to include in the app if they desire. So just to let the board know that.
Now, John, is there reciprocity on this? Do they share all of their information at no cost to the recipients?
Well, the app will be available to
everybody.
Everybody, yeah. So our information will be on there. Everybody else that contributes information will all be on the app. So,
well, that's good. Makes sense.
That's it.
New and exciting.
All right. Dr. Gobler, PEP, Conic Changes Project Site considerations.
Yeah, so this is another PEP initiative. It's been funded, the Goldblum Lab's been funded. Can you put that up, Allison? To undertake this project. They're calling it the Changes Project. It's an acronym for all these great things that they're expecting to get out of this project. It's basically, so that's the acronym: creating habitat, acidification reduction, nitrogen bioextraction, guarding our shorelines, ecosystem longevity, sequestration of carbon. Basically, let's go to the next one. The Goldblum Lab is going to in these sites, Monantic Creek and Shelter Island, South Ferry and Shelter Island, Gannett Creek and North Haven, the Eastern Shore of North Haven, Sag Harbor Cove, and somewhere south of Barcelona Point. So he contacted me asking for access point on Barcelona. So I just directed him to the Trustee Road that goes along the western side of Barcelona Neck, which goes down to the beach. And he would he's going to propose to put his site there. They'll be growing oysters, probably an oyster reef project. They'll be growing sugar kelp, and it looks like they'll be attempting to seed eelgrass in the site also.
Inside that little salt marsh there? Inside Barcelona?
No, somewhere along the shore, along the bay shore of Northwest Harbor. So I also told Dr. Gobler that, the trustees traditionally have claimed interest in Northwest Harbor. Just a couple of years ago, we had this whole thing with Sag Harbor Village where they wanted to extend their jurisdiction for moorings outside the breakwater. They acknowledged our interest in the harbor. We acknowledged their ability to manage moorings. So I don't know how the board wants to handle, this project. We could do something as simple as just supporting it and leaving it at that, or we could ask for a permit from the Goldblum Lab to do this project and then give them one with no fee permit, if we want to get that formal.
I think we should, John, because you know what? I think if you don't do something along those lines, we know Goldber's office, we got a long history there, but we could easily have somebody try and piggyback. We could easily have somebody try and piggyback with a project that maybe would be less desirable, that we don't really know. It's not fleshed out. I think we should keep it all above boards. Provide him a permit, have him provide us with a prospectus. It gives the public a place to come to and actually hear about the project and get a presentation so that these things, this transparency, these things aren't just occurring.
I agree with you. I think that's the way to go.
Good point.
Mhm.
We can send them a permit application and have them fill it out. I think we could, maybe we should also CC the PEP on this because they're funding.
Good way to keep track of what's going on
Yeah.
historically.
No, but we've had those situations where, and actually it's Chris Goble, where he's done a project that we were unaware of until after the project occurred. We weren't happy about it. This keeps it.
What was that?
That was was it hydrogen peroxide we were using on algae or something? Yeah, it was a minimal kind of thing, but it was something that we do nothing about until after it occurred. And, I think it's a matter of, we're here as a
Pond, was it?
What's that?
Wainscot Pond?
Was it Wainscot
I
Pond?
think it was Wainscot Pond.
But, we're here basically as stewards of the land and also here to inform the public as far as what's going on. It's a good way of keeping those channels open.
Okay, good.
Do you have more film, more
Yeah,
pictures?
there's one more slide there, one more scroll down. Just, I guess they'll monitor water clarity, temperature, salinity, dissolved oxygen, pH, chlorophyll, phytoplankton abundance, and diversity, and do sediment surveys at selected sites.
And this is something that they are doing, they want to do on their own with Dr. Gobler? Or is this required funding from various
This is
different?
an approved PEP project that's being undertaken by the Gobler Lab.
It's a lot of work. A lot of porta potties. Nice.
It's a good acronym too.
They've done a lot of work in, I'm not sure what, a South Shore Bay. I'm not sure which bay. I want to say Shinnecock Bay, but I may be wrong about
It
that.
says Shinnecock Inlet, Sedge Oyster Reef. Would that be?
That could be it. That could be part of what they're citing as work that's already been done, that's been successful. Because they did claim great success with their oyster growing project in the South Shore Bay.
That's a pretty impressive picture, the Oyster Reef.
It is. Looks like South Carolina.
It is.
That's it.
Shinnecock.
All right, thanks, John.
Yeah.
When will that start? This project? When do they implement it?
I'm not sure. Probably
Spring?
next season, sometime, spring or fall of next season, I would think.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm just. All right. So next we have trustee record digitization.
No site considerations, Northwest Harbor?
No, that's part of it.
That's part of the PEP, okay.
Yes.
All right.
All right, so this has a small backstory. The Office of Housing, where I previously worked,
One day ago?
one day ago, is in the process of scanning all their records. And I have had this conversation numerous times with Allison and Arlene. And so I asked him while he was there, could he take a look at our stuff and give me an idea on what it would cost? So he provided an estimate. So did everybody get a copy of this?
No.
No,
No?
no, I didn't get it.
On Friday.
No, I'll pass it around.
sure.
So they would come in and they would scan every single document that we have in our file cabinets. And they would also remove duplicates, so we'd get a cleaner file cabinet at the end. They actually take them off site and then return them. That total process, the estimate was like $85,000.
87.
$87,000.
Does that include continually scanning new stuff too?
No, but once
Just what we have.
we get caught up, then we can scan our records as they come in.
And everything would be available to everybody electronically?
Correct.
Oh,
How do
Sorry,
they,
Ben.
how do they store them,
We would
Francis?
not be disposing of our paper.
No, we would not. They would come
Okay.
back to us.
but this is a nice backup.
And is there any process for anything considered confidential?
I don't think we really have much of that.
Is this something we can get a bid on for other companies do this? You can get a little bit lower, I don't know.
This is what the town uses this company now?
That's what we use, right?
Yes, I think they have I believe they have a contract with the state. So they don't have.
But this was,
You don't
at
have to
some
go
point,
out
there
to
was a
bid.
bid process.
At some point, there was a bid process.
Do we have to bid it out too? Just legally?
It's
No.
because it's the
There's already
town.
a contract we can just go to,
Hook on.
because they already bid.
Good use of the funds coming in the next couple of years from Orsted, maybe.
I would not want to see a penny of that Orsted money go to
To
this
this,
house.
no.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I
The
agree.
kayak
It's
money.
meant
is
for
different.
improvements.
No, but we made a commitment to use those monies for improving
Yeah, I
water
agree.
bodies. This is the kind of stuff that
Yeah,
towns.
once you go
Once
off
you
Municipalities
start nibbling away
tend to piss that kind of
I mean,
money
that-
away on.
That's an important project, I think. Like, we only have so much space to store documents. If there was a fire in that building, it'd all just be gone. There'd be no record or history of it.
I mean, our file cabinets are fireproof. So
Yeah.
they've been upgraded. They've been upgraded over the years.
No, but can I tell you what our file cabinets are not protected from? And we've already had this over the years. They're not protected from somebody going in and taking out either an entire file or portions of a file, bringing them home, not bringing them back. And slowly over the years, we've got these vacancies and voids in the file. So I do think a project like this has significant value, especially when we get projects that are redundant, where we want to share older information with newer boards on properties and projects in the future. No, I think it's well worth doing.
Yeah, I do.
Is it easier
I agree.
to find information too, once it's scanned in? Like, is it all categorized? Like, you could just type in a search for like minutes from 1955 and they'll pop up.
There's probably,
I don't know if the minutes that we have from 1955 are bound in the books. I don't think we're
That's- I mean-
proposing to do that.
Okay.
Well, my question is along those lines too. Does that price include some sort of interactive database or hard drive or iCloud
It's just
system?
scanning
No,
and accumulating data.
So it's gonna be like-
Be useless.
100,000 pages just scanned in.
Yeah.
There's no order to it.
Yeah, hopefully.
And no database?
He would, he would work with the office and whomever and the trustees to devise a cataloging system that would do whatever it was, that however we wanted to be able to make it searchable, whether we wanted to keep it cataloged in the same way that our files are currently cataloged. So you'd be able to put in a keyword and find all of those files that pertain to that particular keyword. So it's not just scanning and cataloging.
is the town keying any of this stuff like the tax map numbers or anything?
Say that again?
Is this information being keyed to tax map numbers or anything like that?
We could, if you chose to do it, we could catalog it based on tax map number as well, yes, absolutely. And he did offer that currently the building department could be a good department within the town if anybody on the board wanted to go view how it works. You kind of see, so.
That's a good idea.
I guess we need more
Sounds like something
information.
we want to
Yeah.
do, but maybe.
I don't know how they
we can do a
store
little more.
It just seems really expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Well, how many years of documents are there in those filing cabinets? What, when did they begin? 1920?
Think
Should we
about
just
it
buy
like
a-
1980s.
Should we just buy a scanner and then
No.
You're gonna do a scanning yourself?
Have you
Oh,
ever tried to do something like that?
Ben.
Yeah. It's pretty darn tedious.
Oh, my God.
Pretty fast, and you know what happens before you get as far as you'd like to go?
What?
That friggin' scanner takes a crap on you. Okay.
We could buy a $500 scanner and save
Oh.
$82,000.
Are you suggesting I do the scanning? Oh, thank you.
We did offer to be available to do some sort of a Zoom call for question and answer for the board, if that was something that the board felt they wanted to do.
That'd be a
Well, I
good
think
step.
many offices do this, doctor's offices, everything is scanned and things. So I think this is a nice way to store
I think it's worth
information.
seriously
Yeah.
considering,
Yeah.
and I think,
Yeah,
you know,
just
we
get
have a
something that's
pretty
little
good,
better.
we have a
Start
pretty
with,
good pot of money
Star
now
scan. It's all
that might not
digitized.
have in the future, so it might be an opportune time to really take this seriously and get it done.
Because the only thing we have now are files and papers.
So why don't we invite him to Zoom into a meeting in January or February or something?
So
Yeah, we can ask
that
him.
includes a hard drive for $265. So he does provide some sort of massive hard drive. But it's $3 a scan for large plans and like a penny and a half a scan for regular sized PDFs. So maybe there's some wiggle room on his pricing or on what needs to be scanned. I don't know.
And then no candles or incense until.
Well, I would suggest, I would suggest that you guys come in and take a tour through those file cabinets and get an understanding of what we're talking about.
Yeah,
Okay.
we went through it for some things and, you know, some of them have like 83 copies of the same letter,
Oh, really?
you know, things like
Yeah,
that.
it's,
And I just dropped off a bunch of files the other day I'm cleaning out and wanted to make sure that I wasn't disposing of them.
then we have Jim's files on top of the cabinet.
It's confidential ones.
Hey, listen, I
No,
tried
he has copies of everything we already have. Gives them
Oh,
back.
you brought yours in as
to
well?
bring them back. Can I get copies of every document that when we were negotiating with Orsted?
Yeah. See,
Every,
and that's important to have on this
everything that
program.
ever got printed up, every report, everything. What it was is as they got emailed, I had them printed, I had them bound, because I figured at some point,
You're gonna refer to them.
well, we may need to
May.
refer to them, and that what can happen with some of these digital documents is they can disappear. You know?
Mhm.
So,
Can you send this around to us?
yeah,
I can resend it,
Email
yeah.
them.
She did email.
yeah, I don't want to hold off too long on this because they are going to be at in the building at some point. If we're going to do it, it would be nice to just,
Send it around.
What do you think?
Do we want to vote on at least
no,
moving forward?
it's tabled
with
for
something?
now, it's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What's your, do you think it's something we should?
I think it's a good idea.
Well, I mean, that's why I asked.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
it sounds like something we should do, but
Yeah.
we're looking at
I mean, if we could get it.
it's a little fuzzy right now, exactly what we're
Get an
doing.
idea of when they will be around, you know, how late is too late, we could.
There's no such thing as too late.
It's not too late.
I did ask him how long he was gonna hold the quote for, and he did say
85
that,
grand.
given the time of year.
It's
It's not gonna walk
Be back,
away.
yeah, only
If
time.
we do this again in a year, it'll be like, oh, we should have did it, you know, years ago. Like, it's just it's not gonna go down. It's just gonna go up. The longer we wait.
There's going to be more records.
Yeah, more stuff to scan and. Surprising.
Okay,
Should I reach out to set up some sort of a Zoom? Is that a consensus, or am I?
I think it's a good
holding
idea.
off on that?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, in January?
Second meeting in January.
Okay,
And Allison, that's also just, like, he didn't count every document. That's kind of just a rough estimate, right?
it's a rough estimate.
He went
Yeah,
he went into the
overestimates,
file
but he
cabinets
measures.
and
He measures, okay. You know,
A lot of duplication in those files.
yeah, so could be half, maybe.
it could come out less
Yeah.
in the end.
Yeah.
All right, Georgia dredging bid results.
Nice.
Who's gonna,
Well, you were there.
I was there. You were there.
I don't have the
There
document.
was one bidder, Patrick Bistrian, and I think the bid was $10 a yard.
$10 a yard, which makes it 13,500 yards, which is not $130,500. It's $135,000. Whoever wrote up that sheet And
Oh, I didn't see the sheet.
the bid on the 950 yards was what, 750?
750.
Okay, so, I think it's a good, thing. Question right now is what the schedule is gonna be on that, because if it's gonna be a while, I would suggest that we let Georgia go. Like,
Let it again.
let it again.
It's
I hope the storm
135,000?
would do something.
So was I, but it didn't happen.
It's 135,000 to dredge?
Well, what it was.
Pond doesn't seem very
We're gonna
high,
get-
though.
We get $135,000.
Oh, right.
We're not paying.
Pond doesn't seem that high.
It's all like
It's from spoil.
I've had some of the
Maybe
bay.
after yesterday.
Yeah, no, it's actually not that high. And some of the baymen, I got 2 calls from 2 different baymen asking if we would consider letting it, just because there's a lot of stuff moving past. They'd like it open to let stuff in and out.
Didn't we just close it up? Like,
closed very
By
quickly.
itself.
I mean, not close it, but didn't it just close it? Didn't it just?
No, it closed 5 days after it was open.
Yeah, it didn't stay open that long.
So let's do it again.
So the 135 is the spoil.
It's not spoiled, it's sand. That's beautiful
Sand.
It's
sand.
bid, it's a bid. They give us money.
Okay.
We don't give them money.
Oh, I see.
It's actually pretty nice.
All right. So do we need to vote to accept the bid?
I'll make a motion to accept the bid.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Anyone opposed? All right, back down to committee reports. South Fork Sea Farmers Oyster Reefs, notice of completion.
We received a notice of completion from South Fork Sea Farmers. Actually, that notice has to be amended. The coordinates showed the wrong reef. I could just talk to Bob Tiemann over the weekend, and they've completed the reef that we approved that's adjacent to the original reef over by Landing Lane. They completed that reef. They still haven't completed the other reef that we approved, which is up by the Kaplan Preserve, the northern part of 3 Mile Harbor, and they plan to do that in the spring, so.
So they've been started on that.
They haven't started on the Kaplan Preserve Reef yet, no. They're doing it in the spring. So that's, I guess this notice of completion is just gonna be for a portion of the 2 reefs that we approved.
We don't have to take any action.
No, there's just notice of completion.
All right, aquaculture scalp meadows.
Yeah, I just, we got a notice from Suffolk County Aquaculture Lease Program for an informational meeting for prospective lease applicants. Wednesday, December 13th, 6 p.m. in the Suffolk County Media Room, number 184, H. Lee Dennison Building in Hauppauge. The staff of the planning department will cover the lease process, and staff from the DEC will be there to cover the regulatory requirements and permit application process. So any prospective applicants can go to that informational meeting and get information on how to sign up for the program and what to do about getting permits.
What date is that, John?
December 13th,
Tomorrow.
Oh,
Wednesday.
yeah, December 13th, okay.
this Wednesday. So that's just in case anybody's listening and wants to grow oysters. There are sites available off Gardner's Island, off Cedar Point, and off Promised Land in the town. There's also sites available off between Shelter Island and North Haven on the Southampton side of the border. It's practical. sites for people that were in East Hampton that were interested in participating in the lease program. You can lease 10 acres of bottom land. It's a lottery system. So the information details are
How long's the lease good
available from
for?
the county. What's that?
If you win the lottery, how long's the lease good for?
How long is the lease for, good for?
Isn't it 10 years?
10 years.
10 years.
And it's renewable after that.
Thanks.
Done?
That's it.
Okay. We have announcements. Skip the Stuff,
Yes.
Surfrider Foundation.
Yes, Surfrider Foundation notified me, called me and asked me if I would participate in this event. It's for December 15th at 10:30 a.m. and it's going to be at the East Hampton, it's with Skip the Stuff Bill for East Hampton Village. And it will be held at LTV Studios, 75 Industrial Road in Waynescott, at 10:30 a.m. We'll be meeting outside and with some signs, a group photo, and the public is invited to join to come and speak to the issue of this campaign, which is about plastic utensils, napkins, straws, condiment packages, and other accessories that are routinely included, to takeout and delivery orders. So in other words, when you go into a restaurant, they automatically put in these items without asking you, are you going home? Or do you want them? Do you want these items? Because the condiments are in plastic bags. And as you know, the plastic utensils come in plastic. So this is a way to, it'll also help the restaurants or the place that you go to for takeout because it's less costly for them. And it's a good thing all the way around. So I was invited to speak to the village board and I will. I served for a while with legislator Karahan, and the program was called Suffolk County Plastic Task Force. And we did that for the restaurants in Suffolk County. They made up posters, and so the restaurants would have the poster, and the restaurants would be aware to ask first, to cut down on debris. And so I also contacted Beyond Plastic, which is an organization headed by Judith Enck, and she is, one of her colleagues wrote a letter, and I will read that letter as well. But I will talk to the issue of the plastics in our environment. I think it's a good thing, and if it's unnecessary, why give plastics out? So you can, this is on our website. I posted this to the website under events, so you can sign up. They have an RSVP sign up here. And you can speak to the village board if you have a story about plastics or something that you feel impassioned about. So that is this Friday, December 15th at 10:30 a.m. at LTV Studios. It's called Skip the Stuff, Surfrider Foundation, and you can go to our website if you'd like to see all the information there at ehtrustees.com. So.
Yeah, our East Hampton Middle School Surfrider Club will be supporting that.
And you're going to send a letter to me, and I will read it on behalf of the school.
Yeah, we can't get there during school, so
Well, you'll be there in spirit.
be there in spirit.
With the kids.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
you're welcome. I do have another announcement, but
Okay.
it can be at the end.
Administrative payment of the bills, we have Optimum for $150.24. Is there a motion to pay?
I make a motion to pay the bill.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we have minutes.
Van Dyke and Hank.
I'm
There's a
sorry.
last minute addition because we're not meeting again until January.
There's one more in there. Maybe you didn't see it. It's $180.
I don't have it on mine.
Yeah, here you go.
I got it right here. Okay, Van Dyke in hand for the accountant, $180.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, minutes from November 27th are
I read them.
available for review.
I read them and they were perfectly fine. Allison did a good job.
You want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of November 27th, 2023.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Only John?
Aye.
Financials, months ended August 2023. We also have September, October, and an amendment to the financials of July 2023. Anybody?
I did look through the finances and they seem accurate to me, as far as I can see.
Do you want to make a
I
motion?
make a motion to approve the finances.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. One thing I noticed on the finances was the total interest we've earned so far on the night class through, and we're only looking through October here, but it was over $9,000 for the main account and $2,600 for your
Yes, very
scholarship
good.
fund.
That's nice.
Nothing.
Yeah, excellent.
Well, it covers the
Scholarships.
scholarships.
Yeah, 2,600. That's great.
Yeah, we just made a substantial increase to that.
Yeah, that was good.
That's not reflected in those.
Mhm.
Casinos came up.
Wow.
In there, right?
Very
I don't
exciting.
think we opened it until April also, so it's not a full year.
Yeah, you're right.
Good.
That's all great.
Going.
Silver lining to it.
Right.
Okay, so,
So may I make an announcement? I forgot to
Go ahead.
add this. I just wanted to let everyone know that we were invited to go to see the South Fork Wind Farm. And David Cataletto, Jim Grimes, and I were on that boat. We did see, we went by Block Island, and then we ended up at the new
South Fork Wind.
South Fork Wind. Two of them are up and running, so they are supplying energy to East Hampton already. To further out to the right is another new project, and I keep forgetting the name of the new project, but it's about to start being built, and that will then hook up to our grid. But it was an all-day event. Jim took a ton of pictures. I just got them today. I took a ton of pictures. So I will be adding this trip and the pictures to our website. Steve Ballone, our county executive, was there. The heads of Eversource were there. Jim had a nice conversation for a while. I saw you across the way, talking to them. And Tom Falcone was there from Orsted. And Adrian Esposito, a lot a people in the
Very inspirational.
NOAA.
Don't forget the whale.
Well, but that's the end of my story.
The whale.
Yes,
The whale that got run over by the boat. Yeah.
At the very end, toward the end, when we were about to turn, the wind was, blowing the vessel. And suddenly outside of the window, there came a spout and the whale was there, and it was in between one of the wind turbines and our boat. And it was very exciting. So that was kind of the highlight of that.
It was all disoriented, wasn't it?
What?
It was all disoriented, wasn't it?
No, it's saying I love it out here.
No, it was wonderful. Yeah.
Moving to the
And
vibration.
the fluke went up and whoosh.
Was the
Now,
turbine spinning?
One of them.
Yes.
Does it make a noise?
No, it makes a
like
very,
silent. They're so quiet.
really soft, like a little, no, you have to
They
really
move really
listen.
slow. It's almost like 10-second rotations.
Yeah.
But it's moving at
Like birds don't get hit by them. They.
No.
No.
It's actually moving very.
Swatch, you're right.
Think of the
Yeah.
scale.
Well, that's true. They're giant. Yeah. They're the size of a football field, one of the.
Yeah, now they're how many feet? It's down 120 feet, and you,
No, they're about 40, they're about
You-
120 foot into the bottom.
okay, right, that's what I meant to
The
say.
depth out there.
But the interesting thing was that when I came back, the Block Island have what I call legs. The bottom of it looks like a tripod, thank you. And this is a monocolumn, so you have no legs. And it's just the pole going right down straight. So that was something that you all negotiated, Eversource and Orsted. So
The good news is and this is the only good news, is these things should be up and operational by roughly the end of the winter, early spring, at which point, once they determine it, that it's producing commercially, our lease kicks in and money's owed.
Projects can be addressed. It's a good thing. So it was very exciting, and again, I'm gonna put this on the website with all of your pictures and our pictures. And it was freezing cold.
No, it
That-
wasn't that bad.
Oh,
It could have been worse.
oh my God, everyone's hands were brilliant red. It was
That's what the
freezing.
water, you spend most of your sea time in the Caribbean. That's the thing.
It wasn't bad, trust me.
It was freezing, and people were getting blown, and the boat was going, you know, we had
A
the
lot of
waves.
landlubbers.
It
A lot of
was
I just said, well, I had too much
It
to
was
drink.
virtually flat calm.
No, it was not.
Virtually flat
They
calm.
even had a
It
notice,
doesn't
the
get any
captain said,
nicer
for the
than
next
that.
20 minutes, we're gonna have rough waters, and we had to slow down for the whale trout,
Right whale
slow down,
habitat.
right? So, yes,
Field trip.
okay, and,
Chris was there.
Yeah, Chris.
oh, that's right. Yes, Chris was 2 seats
Was it
behind David
that
and
cold,
myself.
Chris?
Thank you. Yeah, I do have something else I would like to say. Well, it's the end of my term.
Yeah.
And I would like to say that I love all of you. You have been great and wonderful. You have taught me so much. And I know that makes you feel really warm and snuggly there when I say that, but I love all of you. And I'm gonna miss you very much. And I've learned so much from you, and Francis really let me run with so many Oh my God. Wow. It's beautiful. Wow, it smells so wonderful too. I really am gonna miss all of you. I'm sorry. It's like there's no place like home.
Expect you to stick around and.
Oh my gosh.
It won't be far.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. I have to give you hugs. I'm a hugger. Come here. Thank you. Thank you. Really, I came into this, I didn't know anything, and I just learned so much from all of you. Horseshoe crabs or.
Be careful volunteer for the horseshoe crew.
Yeah.
You
You just say
I'm gonna miss my job with all of you. Thank you so much. I knew I was gonna cry.
Look, it's a good cry.
Doors
These are
open.
magnificent.
Stop by.
Yeah, public comments every time.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
my gosh, this is gorgeous.
You
Thank
lost
you,
our
thank
number
you,
one
thank you.
fan.
And Allison and Arlene, I've just loved working with both of you, and you were terrific and wonderful. And Chris Carrillo, thank you so much for representing us.
Thank you, Susan.
I didn't,
Yeah.
because I want to see your baby.
Keep doing the website.
And the clam comes.
Okay.
You want me to help? Did you have something here?
Oh, yes, my box.
That Allison.
My box. I hug Allison and Arlene all the time. Okay, so, this is Mr. Walsh.
Wait, yeah, we can say goodnight.
This Chris.
Oh, we say goodnight. I thought we were gone.
No, no. Thank you, Matt. Have a great holiday.
Susan.
Do you want to make an official motion?
1 second, we got a motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Matt. Good
Thanks,
night.
Matt. Good night.
Merry